BAD5 is a simulation of real boardroom experience. You've now done your part 1 to part 4 in terms of discussing the principles, in terms of discussing the theory and all the concepts. We now get to a stage where you actually implement what you've been learning. So it gives you ample opportunity to really immerse yourself into the practical experience of the boardroom. And remember, in the boardroom, it's beyond just the concepts, the principles, the theory. It actually gets into practice. It's how you now deal with real life situations that happen in organizations in a manner that, as a board member, you exercise oversight, you guide the organization, you ask questions, you even listen to what is not being said, and you are able to bring that to life in a boardroom situation and help the organization to chart its way forward in a manner that causes it to emerge successful. It helps to have a mix of directors that have experience on the board and directors that have no experience on the board. Of course, it's very useful for people who have no experience on the board, because then they get to sink their teeth into what happens in the boardroom. But you also draw on the experience from those that have sat on the boardroom, but they're also able to reflect on what they have been doing and what could they have been missing in the boardroom. And everyone comes out of this course having learned something. One of the most important elements of the program is to understand dialogue as a platform, because boards act through dialogue. They actually give the organization their contribution, they are directing through dialogue. And one of the skills that we try to hone in is how can you communicate effectively through what you say, how you say it, but also your listening abilities. So all of us benefit out of this program. One, they will take home ability to decipher information, and what should they be looking at in the pack. Some of the things that we establish is directors actually focus on what they are being told, and they then forget to look at what is missing, what are we not being told. So they are able to look and reflect on their thinking, on their approach in the boardroom, and become more effective in as far as what they do for the organization out of the boardroom. We also help directors to think about how do they actually add value to the team, because as a board you act as a team. So it's not only about what you do and what you say, it's also about how you fit in with the team and how you actually relate to other directors in a manner that improves effectiveness of the entire team. So that ability to reflect and add value to the team is very, very important, and it actually comes to life in this particular program of BAD5. You are able, through a simulation, to reflect on your behaviors, to reflect on your conduct, to reflect on how you do and say things in a safe environment. Because yes, this is where you can do all that you would want to do in a live environment. But if there are mistakes, they are not going to affect anything, because it's a simulation exercise. So you are able to actually be free to be yourself and reflect on what you've done and see whether it works or it doesn't, and in that way you improve your effectiveness. Number of experiences that we derive out of this course. One, it starts way before you even walk into the boardroom for the simulation exercise. The extent to which you prepare, you read your pack, and you make notes and prepare yourself to be ready to be in a dialogue. Number of times people scan over the reading material and they don't put in effort to prepare themselves in terms of participating in a dialogue. So you learn the importance of making notes, you learn the importance of understanding that you need to listen to others, and you need to take that and align it with your own preparation so that you are able to be progressive in the discussion. And the simulation exercise assists us to help candidates to prepare properly so that when they're in the boardroom, discussions get bulk of the time instead of having other people repeat what has been provided in the reading material, because us as board members haven't prepared and haven't read our material. So you really get first-hand experience in terms of how you need to prepare, and then how you conduct yourself through the dialogue, what are the do's and don'ts in the boardroom, and how does that add value to the effectiveness of the board. I have served on boards for over 23 years for different companies, starting right from the municipal-owned entities, state-owned entities, regional and national entities, private entities, listed and unlisted, and I've played different roles in all of this. Of course, even before that, I was an executive reporting to boards, writing reports to the boards, getting direction from the board. So I've interacted in the boardroom over all of those years, and I bring all of that experience to the simulation in being a director part 5, and it helps a lot to share that experience with our delegates. The rest of the series, delegates actually spend a lot of time listening to the facilitator. The facilitator leads the discussions. With being a director part 5, they are actually doing most of the talking. The facilitator guides, but the facilitator plays more of a chairman or chairperson role in the boardroom. So they actually are the key people in the dialogue. So they get to immerse themselves, and we relate better when we have actually been the doers rather than just being the listeners. And that's why PAD 5 actually adds a lot more value to their experience of what we do here at the Institute of Directors. I am Dr. Simo Lushaba, one of the subject matter experts for being a director part 5 at the Institute of Directors. Hope to see you at one of our programs. Promise you'll enjoy the experience.